We are going to be doing here tonight a first. Mark Stone, Columbus Ward Central Committee member 72, is going to come forward and give us a poem. Please come forward. Mark Stone, thank you.
Hello everyone. I'm going to read my Trump poem. If you'd like to read along, it's on my poetry Substack. Just go to, on your phone, commonsensepoet.substack.com, and there it is. Okay, real quick, I'm a retired Air Force lawyer after 33 years in that job. I've been the official club poet of the Worthington Area Republican Club for 3 years. Thanks to Jeff Hatcher, thank you. And I've been on the Central Committee for about 6 months. The Trump poem, if you want to read along, commonsensepoet.substack.com. It's called Why Tens of Millions Support President Trump. On voting day, we hope the nation's red a bright vermilion. Let's count the reasons to choose Trump. There are a half a zillion. Trump speaks his mind with filters down. He's not a politician. A businessman, he gets things done. His plans come to fruition. His policies on taxes, trade, and regulations nourish the growth of our economy, so jobs and income flourish. He does not want a nanny state with squalor and dependence. He knows a steady job means having freedom and resplendence. When marches morph to asymmetric warfare, that is when Trump offers to call out the guard to give us peace again. He does not sympathize with those who riot or who loot, or with the local DAs who refuse to prosecute. Trump executes with staunch resolve our laws on immigration. A country that is borderless will cease to be a nation. His judges will apply the law as it in fact is written. They're not judicial activists with whom the left is smitten. For parents facing failing schools, Trump listens to their voices. He advocates for vouchers so that parents will have choices. He signed a law so ex-cons can refashion from the embers their place in our society and be productive members. His policy on energy yields power day and night. He is therefore, if truth be told, the candidate of light. His leadership has kindled a free market innovation, a new vaccine in several months, a warp speed operation. Trump battles for gun owners' rights, which makes progressives bitter. He favors unrestricted speech, especially on Twitter. His buildup of our fighting force is something to applaud, since weakness can result in ultimatums from abroad. He's loath to launch a foreign war, since it might never cease. He's skillful at diplomacy and mediating peace. For politicians, there's disdain. For leaders, there's a thirst. Trump cares for all Americans and dares to put us first. He rankles special interests that are anchored and entrenched. That's why they cry, resist, resist, with fists and molars clenched. Assertion that the news is fair crack up the Mona Lisa. Trump shows the news is slanted like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. He's tough as nails, not frayed and frail. He's managed to survive the kamikaze media, the hatred of the hive. Trump says, let's dump the Marxist theory foisted on our youth and base our votes on values and experience and truth. He's loyal to his faithful fans, the basket of deplorables. He welcomes all who join his team and sees them as adorables. Repudiate the Trojan horse and leftists lodged within. Let's organize, get out the vote, and earn ourselves a win.
Well done, Mark. Thank you very much. First important issue of tonight's meeting, and one that's important to the entire state of Ohio and certainly to this country, and that is the endorsement of issue 1. And as the members of the Franklin County Republican Central Committee and Executive Committee in the support of the Franklin County Party, we need to understand that the election is 22 days away. Early voting starts October 8th. That's when this election starts. And that the prerogative of the chairs of the Executive and the Central Committee, and together with the request of several members of this body, is brought forth to this committee. It is a recommendation hereby that we endorse a vote no on state issue 1 and its unacceptable gerrymandering scheme by the deep state political appointees therein. I'd ask for somebody to please move for that endorsement.
I move.
A second.
We got a move by the entire body. We've got a second by the entire body. Thank goodness. We would invite the Honorable Ohio Treasurer Robert Sprague to come forward and explain the importance of this endorsement and this issue. And he has been a leader on this in the state of Ohio, and we are thankful to have him here tonight.
Well, look, you didn't come here to hear me speak tonight, so I'm going to be very short about this because it sounds like a lot of you already understand what a disgusting constitutional amendment this is. But I want to just make 4 points. And at the end, I'm going to make an ask of you, aside from your vote on this important topic at the Central Committee. So the 4 points are that, first of all, this is going to result, now you know that there's 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans, and 5 independents that are going to be appointed to this commission. There's only one topic that this issue deals with, and that is making sure that it is balanced between a Republican and a Democrat vote. And so this is going to result, quite frankly, in gerrymandered districts like we've never seen before in the state of Ohio. I mean, you think the districts now look a little bit jumbled? I mean, right now they're drawn for compactness and to try to keep counties and cities together. If we pass this thing, they're going to be all over the place. There is no rules in terms of compactness. I mean, you could draw, like I live in Findlay, Ohio. You could draw us in with Toledo. You could draw us in with Columbus if you figured out how to do it, honestly. So you're going to see gerrymandered districts like you've never seen before. It literally will be 10 times worse in terms of the gerrymandering than it is right now. That's the first point. The second point is this commission, they can charge whatever they want to, and the General Assembly has to pay it on behalf of the commission. So it literally is like a credit card with no maximum amount on the credit card. The third thing that I want to point out, the third point is that these people are wholly unaccountable to the people of the state of Ohio. Wholly unaccountable. They draw a bunch of maps that you think are horrible and unfair. You can't get rid of them. Oh, and you can't even challenge it in the Supreme Court, except on one topic. Do you know what that is? Whether or not it's balanced in terms of Republican and Democrat. That's it. That's the only reason that you can take something to the Supreme Court. So, you know, I was trying to think if I could make a little levity here and describe what this was like to have this commission that's unaccountable and also be able to charge whatever they wanted to the General Assembly. And I thought, you know, this is kind of like my wife being let loose in the J. Crew with my American Express card. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She's a much better spender than I am, much more conservative. But I mean, really, it's kind of absurd that the commission can just charge whatever they want to the Ohio General Assembly. And then the final thing that I want to mention is that at the end of the day, as Republicans, you know what this is about, right? This really is just about having the Democrats be able to draw the districts. That's what this is all about. So right now, the Republicans are in control of the apportionment board. By the way, I was in the House when we passed the current way to draw the districts, and it was, I think the vote was over 70%. Very bipartisan. Republicans, Democrats together said this is the way that we should draw districts in the state of Ohio. this is not about a fair way to draw districts in the state of Ohio. It simply is about having the Democrats appoint their people that they like to be able to draw the districts that will help them win, not just in the state house, but also in Congress. This is really about control of the United States Congress when we get right down to it. So I wanted to make those 4 points. So here's my ask of you at the end. First of all, I would ask that this committee wholeheartedly and enthusiastically, with much resplendence, I had to use that word, that's sexy. Wholeheartedly endorse the defeat of issue 1. And the second thing that I would ask of all of you is, I was out in out at the event this weekend, and some of the speakers got up and asked people to do things like text 5 of your friends about this. And I thought, I don't think anybody's going to text 5 of their friends right now in this current election cycle. But here's one thing I think you could do. Does anybody have a Facebook? Anybody have a Facebook page?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. All right. How about a Twitter page? Anybody have a Twitter page? TikTok? Anybody out there with TikTok? No. Okay. No TikTok. I got the TikTok, right? Instagram? All right. You can post something about the costs, charging the taxpayers without anybody having to say about it. Voters don't like that. You could post that on Instagram. You could say that the districts are going to be more gerrymandered than they ever were, and that's the truth. You could post that on Facebook. You could say that these people are unaccountable to anybody, anyone. And that would be true, and you could post that on Twitter. That's the way we get our message out about this. So with that, I'm going to conclude, save the rest of your meeting and any remaining time. If I can answer any questions, I certainly will, or there may be some other people, like former prosecutor Ron O'Brien, or many others that are some of the legal eagles here that could help us understand this ballot issue a little bit better. Thank you. Yes.
I have an easy question for you.
Sure.
Are there any signs available? No signs?
I don't know of any signs. Does anyone know of any signs?
One more week, we should
One
have
more
signs from the ORP.
Yes.
Sir, you forgot to say at your last, the point that it's no recourse as far as going to the Supreme Court is the only recourse. I think that has to be brought out, because if there's no recourse and this thing goes through, then it's done deal. And I think if you focus on that, I mean, for me, that has the most impact, because people don't care about the money, because money goes and flows. But if you have no recourse, that to me is a stake in the ground. So I just wanted to make that clear. You didn't say put that on Twitter and Facebook, but I think that in there, if I hear there ain't no recourse, there ain't no opportunity to go back and look at it again, that to me is a stake in the ground.
Mr. Whitaker has a great voice, and I know you all heard that. So thank you very much. And I mean, this is what this is about. It's about taking control away from the people. This is our government. We should be making these decisions. And unless we have the ability to recall people, they will never listen to us. And that's what I think this is about. Also, I wanted to mention one other thing that Mr. Whitaker just kind of reminded me of very, very briefly. For years and years, we have drawn a minority-majority congressional district around Cleveland. And this was first drawn in, and Louis Stokes became the first African-American congressman from the state of Ohio. And this will eliminate all the minority-majority districts. And my friend John Barnes from Cleveland is going around, he's a Democrat, but I mean, he has a head on his shoulders, and he's going around the state and he's campaigning against this because he's saying, look, this is going to eliminate a lot of the minority-majority legislative districts and the minority-majority congressional districts. And we're going to lose a lot of African-American congressmen, congresswomen, and legislators. And I don't think that's right either. So
I appreciate you bringing up John Barnes, because my wife and I, ex-Representative Bernadine Kennedy Kent, had a press conference at the Lincoln Cafe. Now, I sent out short snippet of that press conference where John Barnes was talking, and he was making it clear, about the fact that it ain't a Republican-Democrat matter. It's about those Slytherins getting in and being able to create a situation where they could control this whole thing about the assigning people as representation. So it really needs to be looked at, and I sent a copy out of a little bit of that speech. So if you look on your email, you'll see that speech in there, and you can look at that. You also put that on your Facebook because it's pretty comprehensive, and that's coming from a Democrat.
Absolutely. And John Barnes, I got to tell you, he's the salt of the earth. He's a good man who stands up for what he believes in. It takes, by the way, tremendous courage for him to step forward and say anything about this. All right. I think I'm getting the hook here. Thank you very much.
I'm bringing up our secret weapon, our data guru, Mark Scher.
So we are going to do something a little different, at least different from the 12 years of Central Committee members, the Central Committee years that I've been privileged to attend. So I sat down to write this presentation yesterday about 4 o'clock. It was right after the Jets game, Victorious, Tennessee.
Did you speak up? I'm sorry.
Is that better? Yes? All right. And after the Jets game, I turned on the news, and I found myself getting mad. And I got a question for you guys. Before we get to numbers and data and programs and Excel, and I promise that stuff's going to be boring as all get out, but I got a question. Are you guys mad? Right. Are you mad that for the second time in 2 months, some left-wing nut took a shot at President Trump?
Yeah.
And the mainstream media blames Trump. Are you mad?
Yeah.
Are you mad that the first assassination attempt was a 2-day story? You never hear anything about it anymore? Are you mad? Yes. Are you mad that the Sherrod Brown on TV every 15 seconds, either pretending to be a Republican or smearing Bernie Moreno over some dispute over employee overtime that resulted from a court decision affecting hundreds of businesses and that happened after Bernie sold his? Are you mad seeing those commercials every 15 seconds? Are you mad that the Democrats tried to pass a border security bill that solved the problem of illegal immigration by making illegal immigration legal? Are you mad? Yeah. Right? Are you mad that the Democrats in Ohio have a referendum that says it stops gerrymandering while the plain language of the amendment demands gerrymandering? Are you mad?
Yes.
Right?
We're mad as hell, we're not gonna take it anymore.
Are you mad that Columbus Democrats first denied that your personal data was hacked, and then, when a whistleblower revealed that it was true, didn't go after the hacker, nope, went after the whistleblower? Are you mad? Yeah. Are you mad that the ABC debate moderator admitted that she was going to fact check Trump and not Harris, and that this was her plan going in? Are you mad?
Yes.
Are you mad that no one in the media is mentioning that the Democrats plan to pack the Supreme Court and reinterpret the Second Amendment to eliminate an individual right to keep and bear arms? Yeah. Are you mad? Yeah. Are you mad that the government keeps putting out glowing financial reports to adoring press month after month, only to find out that the next month and the next year that it was all fake, and no one ever calls them out on it? Are you mad? Yeah. Yes. Are you mad that the official inflation reports, 2.5%, aren't even close to your lived experience at Walmart, Target, or Kroger? Are you mad?
Yes.
Let's get to some numbers.
We are making every decision based on data. And Mark has been instrumental in that. The ORP has helped us, and the RNC's come out with some data too. And we've learned that poll flushing is one of the best ways to affect the vote and to get more people to the office. So here's what we found. when the Board of Election does a data dump of who has voted at 11 and 4, calling those voters who have not yet voted can mean the difference in a Brian Garbine race, in a Hussein Jabiri race, because those races might be very close. All of our local races might be close. Every vote counts. So Andrew Havis, our Vice President of the Executive Committee, has offered to chair this position for us, and I'd like to welcome him up to talk to us a little bit about poll flushing.
Good evening. Who understands what poll flushing is? Who's ever participated in a poll flushing operation before? Okay, looks like a minority. All right. So, with all the data, which is absolutely invaluable, that Mark has been able to acquire and mine for us, it makes for a wonderful poll flushing operation. And it's literally what it means. It's that we are trying to flush voters out later on election day to get to the polls. So if we find out at 11 a.m. somebody didn't vote in the morning, we have a list that is presented at every precinct of who voted, and we've tried to find out who didn't vote so that we could get to them later in the day and remind them once again, hey, you didn't vote, please go out and vote. And we try to do the same thing post 4 p.m. when we get that list at a precinct as well. So what we've been trying to do is assemble our own poll flushing operation, which really, it's just going to require a lot of man and woman power. So are there any observers? Anybody that's going to be an observer at any of the precincts? All right. So what we're trying to do is, if we have poll observers that are going to be in the precincts, we're going to try to request that they have sort of double duty, since they're already going to be there, and ask them to look at the list at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. But also, we are going to need lots of people to do this, because on the back end, there's people that are making the phone calls once we find out who has not voted in the precincts. And we would need people, if you're comfortable volunteering and doing this and participating on election day, we need all the hands that we can get and all the folks that we can get to make this a operation that is going to be successful, because in close races, this absolutely will matter. Just thinking back recently, think about Ronald Beach's race. It was a race that went to Richard Brown. I think it was 100 votes, something like that. So it really does matter. I think about Senator Reynolds, when she ran for a trustee race, it was 58 votes. I think we had a central committee race that went down to a coin toss. It's really, really important. I can't emphasize it enough. But with that, I kind of want to just have a broader call to action as well for this time around. And Mark asked, are you mad? And I think pretty much everybody at some point said, yeah, they're mad about what's going on. So the question is, what are you willing to do if you're mad, is the question. One thing we did not talk about tonight that is, and I can't emphasize how important this is, and I'll tell you why, the state Supreme Court races. If you look at Pennsylvania and you look at Wisconsin, even going back to the 2020 election, Pennsylvania, during the election, unilaterally changed their voting rules at the state Supreme Court level, which directly affected how they not only captured ballots, but which ballots counted. Then if you look at Wisconsin, there's now a 4-3 liberal majority at the state Supreme Court there, and they reinstituted drop boxes in a lot of different areas. So I need to remind you, we have a 4-3 conservative majority here in Ohio. And Eric Holder has been running a group. Those of you who do not remember who Eric Holder is, he was Barack Obama's Attorney General, and he started a group that basically raises money and goes around and tries to flip state Supreme Courts. Because if they can't get their initiatives done through the normal legislative processes, they want to go ahead and enact legislation via judicial fiat. And that's what they've been trying to do. So anybody that really cares about election integrity, and I know there's a lot of people in this room that do, I do, get involved if you can. Call friends, please tell them how important these state Supreme Court races are. It could absolutely reshape our state if we do not win these races. They are vitally, vitally important. So Bernie Moreno's race is another one. It could determine the balance of the United States Senate. That can determine what kind of judges get confirmed to the federal bench. So again, call some friends, send some letters, send some text messages. What are you willing to do to get involved these last 50 days in Franklin County? What are you able to do in your own little orbit to get involved? And the last thing I want to say too is, you know, I was really encouraged by the Freedom Rally this weekend, and Lisa and team, you did an absolutely wonderful job. You should be very, very proud of yourself. You know, the other side, these people are willing to do anything to win, and I think we've seen that time and time again. It was good at the Freedom Rally to see all of our statewide officials. Maybe at times we don't agree on everything, but everybody was having a great time. And there was great harmony. We were all united around one cause and believing in that firmly, and I love to see it. But again, what are we willing to do this time around? I mean, these races could be very close, so I'm just asking each and every one of you, if you were on Central Committee, and it seems like maybe half the Central Committee didn't even show up tonight, but what are you willing to do? And if you don't know what that is, please call one of us, and we are more than happy to help in any way that we can to plug you in and to help you find something to do through the finish line. So that's it. That's all I got. It was more just to explain what pole flushing is, to encourage everybody to get involved. And if you'd like to learn more about our pole flushing operation, we're going to be recruiting volunteers actively, and we're going to need a lot of them. So if you'd like to help, please contact us, and we'd love to have your help. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew. And what he's explaining with the pole flushing too, it's super easy to do. It's an app, automatically dials the numbers, and if they don't pick up, you have a recorded message. Super easy job. If everybody could commit to a couple hours on election day, it could really make a difference. So thank you, Andrew, for spearheading this effort with us.
Absolutely, and again, we're extremely privileged to have a guy of Mark's shared skill set to do the number crunching that he does. It is top level stuff. 22 days until the election. The election is October 8th. We were at a Bernie Marino event before we came here, and the things that you're hearing right now, you know, about the importance of early voting, it cannot be understated. Bernie and his team were talking about the fact that 7:50, when they release the absentee votes and the early votes, they can predict who's going to win at that moment.
And guess what county's gonna make that prediction? This county.
This county.
This county. J.D. Vance won 34% of the county.
Absolutely.
We are beaten up by Bernie's team regularly to deliver more votes for him. And if you could, please share this with your friends. Consider Election Day your last chance to vote. I know that doesn't sound like a Republican thing to do, but as long as we have an election season and not an election day, we have to play the game. We cannot overcome in one day what the Democrats get in numbers in a month. It's very important. If you have any questions about early voting, David Payne's on our central committees in the back of the room. He's going to really appreciate me giving him a shout out. He runs one of the tightest ships of all the counties, and I've talked to many of them. So thank you, David Payne.
All right.
You can track your vote. I don't think many people know that. If you have an absentee ballot, you can track it. You can find out when it's received, when it's processed, and when it's counted. It is safe, it is secure. So if you could, please consider voting early, and please share that information with your friends.
And just remember the numbers that Mark shared with you, and just to make sure there will be a test before you leave on all this. 40,267 low propensity voting members in Franklin County, 897,000 original homes for that number. As of September 16th in Franklin County, 81,000 285 absentee ballots alone have been requested already. 15,400 Democrat ballots, 13,642 Republicans, all right? That's encouraging for us. And again, 52,243 undecided ballots requested. All right? We can win this, and we can win it big, and not just for Donald J. Trump, all right? The greatest American that's ever lived in our lifetime, not only for Bernie Moreno, but Mike Carey, and everybody else that we have in this county that we're going to take to the finish line no matter what. But we can't do it without, 70 people bravely showed up tonight on a Monday. And I know some of this is somewhat mundane. We need every single Central Community member to be engaged. This is all hands on deck. So if you know some Central Community people who aren't here, get on them, right? Because when we do this low propensity voter initiative, right, we need everybody to carry their weight in their ward. And if you have a low, if you have a low numbers they have to get to, we do have, 15 vacant wards still. We need some people to pick up that slack. So we're going to ask you before you leave here tonight, again, another list, commit to us tonight. Who can we count on to get to your low propensity voters? All right, who's going to do that, and who's willing to do maybe 1 or 2 more wards for us as well?
We also, Linda Larger in the room here. Linda would stand up and wave. She's our Vice President of Central Committee. She's a great ward member before even she became Vice President. And she also has templates of communication that you can email out, you can mail out. She's been doing it to her wards a long time, and she shared them with me, and I'd like to share them with you and make them available to you as well. So sign up on the way out or contact us after with whatever you can do. Now about early voting, I'll make it brief. We're going to set up a presence at the early vote center. As a matter of fact, I have a meeting with the board talking about our parking lot spots. We are not so idealistic we think that we're going to turn a lot of votes at the early vote center. The location is really bad for Republicans. We know that. But as long as we have that location and it keeps getting bigger, we need to have a presence there and make Republicans feel comfortable enough to come there and vote. So anything you guys can do to help us, we have a schedule online, Sign Up Genius. If you don't use Sign Up Genius, again, Lisa will be at the table on the way out, and she's gonna explain that to you as well. She can get you signed up to give us an hour, give us 2 hours on multiple days of the early vote center. We're gonna try it out and see how we've got vests made, we've got a lot of the statewides coming for certain time frames and all the candidates. So just so we can have a little rally and make the Republicans that come there feel comfortable. We're not there to change anybody's mind at the early vote center. We know that. Louise is king of that, and he did change a lot of people there, so thank you for that. But right now, any unaffiliates we can get in touch with there, and to make the Republicans feel comfortable coming there is our goal for that.
Again, it's all about volunteers. We need your help. We need the people you know's help. All right, we're going to be there the first 2 weeks on scheduled hours. They're all on the website by now, right? When we're going to be there,
Yes.
we're going to do the last Saturday and Sunday before Election Day. All right, so we're going to have sponsorships by people who are the candidates. People, the statewides are going to be there. We're going to live stream. Candidates are going to be there to make sure that we can get our people from their cars into the center and not be harassed. We're going to have people designated security. We are going to have a presence there to make sure, all right, that we're going to make the early vote center great, all right, for Republicans, and that's our goal. And we have been meeting in small groups to make that happen, and we need your help to do it. Lisa, can you give a little bit more information about being involved in the volunteering that we need?
So what I've done, and I've emailed you guys this a couple of times, is created the Sign Up Genius. We're gonna be out 4 hours each day, but they're gonna be staggered. So like on the first day, we'll be there from 1 to 5. And we've created the Sign Up Genius so you can do 2-hour blocks. And I just counted while I was sitting here. This has been up for almost a month now. 4 Central Committee members, including myself, have claimed a slot. 5 Executive Committee. The rest of them are just volunteers that have signed up on our website, and I've reached out to and said, hey, this is what we need help with. We need 6 to 8 people for every shift. And like Meredith said, we're gonna have red vests so we can be easily identified. We're gonna be safe, and we want it to be fun. It's just something a little different. So if you can just plan ahead, that's why we did this far in advance, is so you can plan your schedule for 2 hours a day is what we need for 2 weeks. So I have a printed out version. We'll have it over here if you're not, like me, very tech savvy and just want to look here and see what you're available to do. Please do that. And we're going to have a training session. It's not mandatory. Most of us already know the rules. 100 feet back, you can't do this, you can't do that. But for a lot of the volunteers who haven't done this before, we are having a training session on September 24th. I think David Payne's going to help us out with that too, and Linda Larger is going to do some of the training material. But if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Let's do something a little different. Let's show everybody, hey, we are here, because we know the Democrats aren't so nice up there. So let's show them how to do it right and make our fellow Republicans feel safe.
Thank you. Please follow our new and improved website. I hope you guys have checked that out. It's got a great calendar of events. Thank you for that. And also, I don't know if you've seen the newsletter yet. Has everybody received the newsletter, the Franklin County newsletter? Thank you to Brian Carnahan and Penny Martin for helping make that a reality. They give them a shout out. Thank you for that. Also, you may have noticed, we have a great plan for the slate cards. I know that's a very important piece of this election. We are going forward with digital slate cards for the first time, massive text program that JD Kaplan has put together an amazing digital slate card for us. Thank you, JD. And then our goal is to have physical slate cards at the Early Vote Center and on Election Day. And also we'll be mailing those to a universe that Mark Scher is going to create for us of 65 plus. So people who aren't as tech savvy will be getting them. That's our goal for this year for the general. We think this is a great way to get out the information. If you notice at the voting centers now, people are staring at their phones. I don't know if you noticed that last time, but we're giving it a shot, but we are getting it to the elderly people that may not carry around their phone. The last thing I'll say to you, and I know that this has gone long, but we really wanted you to have all this information. Lincoln Reagan Dinner, October 8th. Please mark your calendars. I'd love to see everybody there. Vivek Ramaswamy is our guest speaker, and if you've heard him speak, he is a very dynamic speaker and will have a lot of great stuff to tell us, I'm sure, with everything that's going on. It's always different every time you hear him speak. He's always engaged and always different. And Congressman Kerry will be there as well. And there's also a couple other surprises for you. So if you have a company that can get a table, I would love that. If you have a club that can get a table, that would be great. That is going to be our extra money to fund the slate card distribution. Another great way is to help us is to buy from this handsome gentleman over there, our political director, Cameron Bryant. Is to please give a recommended donation of $5 and take a Trump sign. And if you know anyone else that can take a Trump sign, that greatly will help us fund our slate card as well.
Will the Lincoln dinner be at Villa Milano?
Yes, it will be at the Villa Milano.
October 8th.
What time?
5:30 VIP, 5:30 to 6:30. And then the dinner will start at 6:30. Yes, sir.
How do we register for the event?
For the Lincoln Reagan dinner? On our website.